rescue mission, the U.S. Coast Guard confirmed the death of all Titan passengers.
The Simpsons is more than just a comedy classic. It's become a modern-day oracle. For over 30 years, this iconic show has shocked fans with its uncanny ability to predict real-world events. From groundbreaking tech to jaw-dropping political moments and iconic entertainment world incidents. From the COVID-19 pandemic to Liam Payne's untimely death, here are 16 shocking Simpsons predictions that actually came true. Number 16. Lisa versus Malibu Stacy and Margot Robbie, Barbie. In 1994, The Simpsons aired an episode called Lisa versus Malibu Stacy. In this episode, Lisa got upset when a new Malibu Stacy doll came out. The doll said silly things that made girls feel like they weren't smart or important. Lisa wanted something better. She believed dolls should teach girls to be strong, smart, and confident. So she created a new doll called Lisa Lionheart, which was meant to be a good role model. Now, fast forward to 2023, when the Barbie movie was released. The movie also tried to show Barbie in a new way, not just as a pretty doll, but as someone strong, smart, and full of personality. People started saying that The Simpsons had predicted this movie almost 30 years before it happened. But that's not all. In the same episode, something really strange happened. While newsman Kent Brockman was excitedly reporting about the new Malibu Stacy doll, he also mentioned something shocking. The president had been arrested. This may have seemed like a random joke back in 1994, but something similar actually happened in 2023. Right around the time when the Barbie movie trailer was released, former United States President Donald Trump was indicted in a hush money case for getting his lawyer to buy the silence of adult film star Stephanie Clifford. Many thought that the conviction would be the end of his political career, but they were clearly wrong. Although it was really weird that these two things, the Barbie craze and a president's legal trouble, happened at the same time, just like The Simpsons predicted. Makes us wonder, are the showrunners time travelers? Number 15. The Simpsons and Game of Thrones. In 2017, The Simpsons aired an episode called The Simpsons. This episode showed the Simpson family living in a magical medieval land called Springfieldia. In this episode, America's favorite yellow family is thrust into a Game of Thrones parody. Springfield is set a medieval times, and the episode pokes fun at the Night King, Jaime and Cersei's incestuous relationship, and Dany's dragons. The scene that drew the attention of the Game of Thrones fans was one where the dragon burns down Springfield with dragon fire. Similarly, 2 years later, in 2019, Game of Thrones' final season had a very similar scene. In the second-to-last episode of the series, Daenerys Targaryen, portrayed by Emilia Clarke, one of the main characters, rides her dragon, Drogon, over King's Landing. In a sudden moment of rage, she decides to destroy the city, and the dragon breathes fire everywhere, burning buildings and people. This moment shocked fans because it was unexpected. But for the Simpsons fans, it looked familiar. People started saying that the Simpsons had predicted this event years before it happened. However, some people think this was just a coincidence. They believe that the Simpsons writers were simply making fun of fantasy stories, and it just happened that Game of Thrones writers had a similar storyline in plan. Others argue that Game of Thrones was already known for using dragons and destruction, so it wasn't surprising that the show would end this way. Number 14. An underwater adventure. In another odd coincidence, fans of the long-running animated series The Simpsons believe the show may have foreshadowed the recent disappearance of OceanGate's Titan submarine, according to Daily Mail. The show is known for its remarkable ability to predict future events, having previously represented innovations, technical developments, and even political results before they happened. One episode, named Simpsons Tide, has Homer Simpson in command of a submarine. In another episode, Homer's paternity coot, Homer goes on a submarine journey in pursuit of wealth near a shipwreck, but encounters complications during the resurfacing procedure. Eagle-eyed experts were quick to point out the parallels between these episodes and the real-life events surrounding the missing submarine. Interestingly, Mike Rice, one of the original writers for The Simpsons, has a personal connection to the Titan submarine. Rice had already boarded the submarine to inspect the Titanic's wreckage. Notably, he encountered communication problems during his expedition, providing a fascinating element to the link between the show and the missing submersible tragedy. The real-life events surrounding the Titan submersible's disappearance were sad. According to the New York Times, debris from the craft was recovered near the Titanic catastrophe, raising the possibility that the 5 people aboard the submersible were lost at sea. According to reports, acoustic sensors revealed indications of an implosion about the time communication with the submersible was lost. However, the hunt continued until the submersible's fate was determined. Number 13. Siegfried and Roy Tiger Attack. Siegfried Fishbacker and Roy Horn, the famous Vegas performers who worked with big game cats, were parodied by The Simpsons in 1993. In the episode, a white tiger attacks Gunter and Ernst during their act as revenge for having been snatched away from life in the wild. Eerily, in a brutal stroke of fate, Manticore, the 7-year-old white tiger, attacked Horn during a show at the Mirage on his 59th birthday on October 3, 2003. As part of the act, but deviating from the script, Horn held the microphone to Manticore's mouth and instructed him to say "hello" to the crowd. Manticore retaliated by biting Horn's sleeve. Horn poked the tiger on the nose with the microphone, saying, "No, no," and the tiger ultimately released its grasp, but remained focused on Horn despite a standby trainer's attempts to divert it with meat cubes. Then, as Horn withdrew, the tiger rushed at him, lashing at his legs and knocking him down. The trainers rushed to the stage to assist, but Manticore bit into Horn's neck and dragged him off stage. He was finally released after trainers sprayed the tiger with carbon dioxide from fire extinguishers and jammed their index fingers into the tiger's mouth. Horn fortunately survived, but the attack severed his spine, resulting in massive blood loss and severely injuring other parts of his body. It left him with permanent impairment in his motor and verbal abilities. Number 12. Boy Meets Curl. In an episode of The Simpsons called Boy Meets Curl, Homer and Marge Simpson go to the Winter Olympics. They try curling, a sport where teams slide heavy stones on ice toward a target. In the show, Homer and Marge end up winning a gold medal in curling, beating Sweden, which is known for being very good at the sport. Fast forward to 2018, and something similar happened in real life. The United States men's curling team won a gold medal at the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. They also beat Sweden, just like in the Simpsons episode. This was a huge win for the U.S. because it was the first time the men's curling team had ever won an Olympic gold medal. This prediction became so famous that many people were amazed to see how close it was to what actually happened. In the 2018 Olympics, the U.S. men's curling team was led by skip John Schuster, who made history by guiding his team to victory. They defeated Sweden 10-7 in the final match, securing the gold medal for the U.S. team. This moment was celebrated by many, and fans of The Simpsons couldn't help but notice how the show predicted it years earlier. The U.S. curling team's win in 2018 shows just how close The Simpsons can come to predicting big moments in the future. The show has been known for predicting many other things, but this curling win is one of the most fun and surprising. Number 11. President Lineup. In a funny short video, The Simpsons made fun of former President Donald Trump by copying a song from West Side Story. In the video, Trump is in a kind of singing contest with other politicians, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This sing-off never really happened, but one short moment in the video looks a lot like something that happened later in real life. David Silverman, the director, posted about it on the social media platform X. He talked about how he set up a dance scene at the end of the short. In that scene, Trump is standing in a line with dancers. Among them are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but back then, they weren't running mates yet. Silverman joked with The Simpsons showrunner Al Jean, asking if they had somehow predicted the future again. It was just a fun moment in the video, but looking back, it was surprising how close it came to real events. Number 10. The Shard. In the 1995 episode Lisa's Wedding from The Simpsons, there's a scene where Lisa visits London. In this scene, the skyline features a tall, pointed building situated near landmarks like Big Ben and Tower Bridge. This structure bears a striking resemblance to the Shard, a skyscraper that began construction in 2009 and was completed in 2012. The episode aired 14 years before the Shard's construction commenced, leading many to believe that the show predicted the building's existence. However, some argue that this is coincidental. The depiction in the episode could have been an imaginative addition to London's skyline, not necessarily a prediction. The Shard's design, conceived by architect Renzo Piano, was part of a broader trend in modern architecture favoring glass-clad spire-like structures. Thus, the building's eventual construction might reflect architectural trends rather than a specific foresight by the show's creators. Number 9. The Matrix. The Matrix came out in 1999 and introduced us to a world where robots controlled everything. People thought they were living normal lives, but really they were inside a computer program called The Matrix. A man named Neo found out the truth and tried to save everyone. The movie was a huge hit because it had amazing action sequences, big ideas, and some incredibly cool slow-motion scenes. Because so many people loved The Matrix, the creators made 2 more movies in 2003, The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. These movies continued Neo's story. He fought more bad guys, learned more about the Matrix, and tried to stop the evil machines. The story got even bigger in these subsequent installations, and the action scenes were even crazier. There was a famous fight where Neo battled tons of Agent Smiths at the same time. There was also a huge war between people and machines. For many years, fans thought the story was finished. However, Luki Amazing, a Twitter user, shared an image from a much older episode of the show that featured a parody of the Matrix film. The graphic featured a false banner headlined "A Matrix Christmas," with a snowstorm like the Matrix's code and a Simpsons rendition of Matrix actor Keanu Reeves. And surprise, surprise, in 2021, a new movie called The Matrix Resurrections was released. Neo and Trinity, 2 of the main characters, returned, even though their story seemed to end before. The new movie had a fresh story, lots of action, and more Matrix mysteries. Number 8. Death of Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer was a famous golfer known for his incredible skills on the golf course and his friendly personality. He was born in 1929 in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. He became one of the best golfers of all time, winning many tournaments, including 7 major championships. People loved watching him play because he had a special way of making golf exciting. Arnold Palmer didn't just play golf, he also helped make golf more popular. He made a drink called Arnold Palmer, which was a mix of lemonade and iced tea. The drink became very popular and is still enjoyed by many people today. Sadly, Arnold Palmer passed away on September 25, 2016, at the age of 87. He died in a hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was a very sad day for his fans and for the world of golf. He had been in the hospital for some time due to heart problems. What is interesting is that Arnold Palmer's death was sort of predicted in an episode of The Simpsons. In the episode Monty Burns' Fleeing Circus, characters talk about Arnold Palmer. The episode aired on the same day he passed away. This was a very strange coincidence, and many people were surprised by how it seemed like the show predicted his death. But of course, the creators of The Simpsons did not know he was going to pass away on that day. Arnold Palmer was not only a great golfer, but also a kind man who made a big impact on the world. His fans loved him because he was always friendly and down to earth. Many people around the world mourned his death and remembered him as one of the greatest golfers in history. Even after he passed, his legacy continued through his tournaments, his drink, and the way he helped make golf more popular. Number 7. The Day the Violence Died. In The Day the Violence Died, an episode of The Simpsons that aired on March 17, 1996, there is a surprising scene that some believe predicted the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. In this episode, a group of angry people storms a building, demanding changes. They attack the people inside and cause chaos. Homer Simpson gets involved and tries to fix things. But the episode mainly focuses on the message of anger, violence, and the need for change. Many fans and commentators later pointed out how the episode seemed to echo the events that took place in Washington, D.C. 25 years later. On January 6, 2021, a large crowd of supporters of then-President Donald Trump broke into the U.S. Capitol building, causing violence and chaos while trying to stop the certification of the 2020 presidential election results. The situation was similar to the scene in The Simpsons episode where people stormed the building in protest. People noticed the coincidence because both events happened on the same date, January 6th, and involved violent actions meant to influence the political process. The Simpsons episode even shows characters who are upset about politics and try to change things by resorting to extreme measures. In real life, the Capitol attack was a dangerous event, resulted in lots of property damage, and was followed by mass arrests of the perpetrators. Number 6. Mixed reality headset. In the Simpsons episode called The Burns Cage, Homer Simpson is involved in a funny storyline where he sees a high-tech gadget. This gadget is similar to the Apple Vision Pro, which is a mixed reality headset. A mixed reality headset is a special device that lets people see both the real world and digital images at the same time. People can wear it like glasses, and it shows things like 3D pictures or games over what you already see around you. This episode aired a long time before the Vision Pro was even created. The episode came out in 2016. But Apple didn't release the Vision Pro until 2023. When Apple introduced the Vision Pro, it looked a lot like the device in the Burns Cage episode, which was a cool surprise for many people who saw it. The Vision Pro headset is a bit like wearing special glasses that show things in 3D. This mix of real and digital images is called mixed reality. It's like having an extra layer of fun stuff added to the world you already see. Subscriber pick. In a jaw-dropping moment, The Simpsons predicted one of the most devastating events of 2024. You guessed it right. In an old episode, The Simpsons showed the now-deceased music sensation Liam Payne of One Direction fame, dangerously perched on a glass railing of a high-rise building. Netizens online went bonkers when they saw this scene, considering Liam fell to his death from a balcony in the presence of the general public. Now, we really need the FBI to do a sweep of the studios to check for portals into the future, because how else is the show making such bizarrely accurate predictions? Number 5. Smartwatches and video calls. In the 1995 episode of The Simpsons called Sweet Seymour Skinner's Badass Cest Song, there is a scene where a character uses a futuristic device that looks very much like a smartwatch. This was surprising because at that time, smartwatches didn't exist. People were still using regular wristwatches and big, clunky mobile phones. However, years later, in 2015, Apple introduced the Apple Watch, which became one of the most popular smartwatches ever made. Another prediction from The Simpsons was video calls. In several episodes, characters use phones with screens to talk to people far away, just like video calls today. In real life, video calling became very common with apps like Zoom, Skype, and FaceTime. These apps let people see and talk to each other in real time, even if they are in different countries. The Simpsons often seem to predict new technology before it actually happens. The episode with the smartwatch and video calls is just one example of how the show has imagined future tech that became true. Number 4. Winner of the Super Bowl. In Season 3, Episode 14 of The Simpsons, called Lisa the Greek, there is a fun scene where Lisa predicts the winner of the Super Bowl. The episode aired just a few days before Super Bowl, and Lisa made the prediction that the Washington Redskins would win the game. Amazingly, she was right. The Redskins did win, and this made people wonder how she could have known. The next year, the people who made The Simpsons decided to change the teams' names in the episode to match the teams playing in that year's Super Bowl. In the episode, Lisa predicted that the Dallas Cowboys would win, and once again, she was correct. The show kept making these little changes for the next few years, and they kept getting a lot of the predictions right. One of the most famous predictions happened for Super Bowl 29. In the episode, Lisa predicted that the San Francisco 49ers would win against the San Diego Chargers. Guess what? The 49ers won, just like Lisa had predicted. Over the years, The Simpsons became known for predicting the winners of the Super Bowl, and it seemed like Lisa had some kind of special power to guess the right team. People found it funny and interesting how the show was able to make such good predictions, and it became a fun part of the show's history. Even though it wasn't real magic, it was still an amazing and fun part of The Simpsons that made fans excited every time a new Super Bowl prediction came out. Number 3. Fox and Walt Disney Company. In an episode of The Simpsons from 1998, Homer accidentally crashes into the house of famous actors Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. They were trying to hide in Springfield for some privacy. To make sure Homer keeps their secret, they hire him as their helper. They all become good friends, and even Ron Howard, another celebrity, joins in. But, as usual, Homer messes things up and tells everyone about the celebrity's secrets. Baldwin and Basinger get upset and stop being friends with him. Later in the episode, Ron Howard is shown going to a meeting at 20th Century Fox. A sign in front of the building shows that Fox is part of Walt Disney Company. Now here's the thing. Disney is known for owning a lot of companies, including many networks and studios. The writers of The Simpsons often made jokes about Disney, so having this little scene was just another way to poke fun at Disney. In 2019, Disney and 20th Century Fox merged. This meant that not only Fox, but also The Simpsons became part of Disney. But even though The Simpsons has made fun of Disney many times, the company doesn't seem upset about it. Number 2. The pandemic. In 1993, The Simpsons made another strange prediction that came true in 2020. In the episode Marge in Chains, a deadly virus called the Osaka flu spreads across the world. In the episode, the virus comes from Japan, and it makes people sick, causing them to cough and feel weak. This is very similar to what happened in 2020 when the COVID-19 virus, which also made people sick and spread quickly, was first discovered in China and spread all around the world. In Marge in Chains, the people who catch the Osaka flu need to be quarantined to stop it from spreading. This is exactly what happened in 2020 when countries locked down to keep people safe and stop the virus from spreading further. The episode also shows people wearing masks, just like many people did during the COVID-19 pandemic to protect themselves and others. Another interesting detail is that in the episode, there is chaos in the stores because everyone rushes to buy things like toilet paper, food items, face masks, sanitizers, and more, assuming there would be a huge shortage of necessities in the near future. This also coincides with the pandemic, when many people bought large amounts of supplies because they were worried about the virus. While the idea of a global virus in The Simpsons was just a funny story, it became eerily similar to the real-life events of the COVID-19 pandemic, which changed the world in 2020. Number 1. J.C. Penney goes bankrupt. While the Simpsons episode in question portrayed a J.C. Penney's rather than a J.C. Penney, many fans were happy to give the show a big thumbs up when the famed American department store chain declared bankruptcy during the COVID-19 epidemic in 2020. Surprisingly, the prediction arrived 13 years ago in the season 18 episode, Please Homer, Don't Hammer 'Em. The episode has several wonderful gags, including a brilliant Star Wars-inspired brawl between Bart and Principal Skinner, but the opening montage with the Simpsons ambling through the decaying Springfield Mall is the most prophetic scene stealer. Marge gasps, "Oh, a J.C. Penney's? Used to be here," as the Simpsons approach the decaying storefront. In May 2020, it was announced that the 118-year-old company J.C. Penney, which, according to Forbes, has 846 stores and 85,000 employees, lodged a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing, which allows companies to reorganize in order to meet debts. Bosses cited the pandemic as a primary reason for the filing, as businesses continue to face mounting financial pressures amid the pandemic. Fans reacted online over the weekend, as they shared their disbelief the long-running series had seemingly predicted yet another massive event. As one fan wrote, "The Simpsons did it again," another mused, "I'm done, y'all. The Simpsons predicted the fall of J.C. Penney's." We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more amazing stories.